Shalom, Israel. Shalom. I want to welcome everyone to King James Bible University. I'm Elder Michael Johnson with the Lost Sheep of Israel. I said I was going to start a little bit earlier today. I want to make sure I have a few things going on over here to make sure everything is good before we actually crank up. And one of the reasons that I'm starting early, because last week I did a teaching on Fringes. And basically with that teaching, with the Fringes, I did not, and I failed to tell you, how to wear them, where to purchase them, and different things. So that I am sorry, because my intentions is not to teach and not to give you tools to where you can purchase or where you can get these that. Now, I'm going to show you a couple of things that I have that I use on some of my clothing on Fringes, because it's a lot of misconceptions out there on how people do them, because you have a lot of brothers that's out there that also teach on the streets, and they say on the way that they wear fringes. Technically, the way they're doing, they can still do it that way. They are not doing it wrong. So many people say they're doing it wrong, but they're not. They're still doing it in their way. And in their way, it's still correct, because it's supposed to be on the border of their clothing. So they're fine. They can also put it on their sleeves if they so choose. So what I do, I need my readers back, but what I do, I'm going to show you a couple of things that I actually have here, to which I do. And if you see here, to which on my clothing, I would still use the same thing. And in the ribbon of blue, do not ever let a Jewish person fool you, or even an Israelite person fool you, because what they will do is get into the technical side and talk about the shades of blue it has to be. First thing you ask them, to tell them to show it to you in scripture. Directly where it's telling you where you should have a ribbon of blue on there. And if then it would tell you the color in the lightness or the darkness of the blue that should be there. So this is the fooling part. This is the part to where Pharisees add to the scriptures, because now they're telling you what type of blue you got to put on there. The fringes are just fringes. So if the fringes are gold, I have another set that I have, and I also use a blue, and this is for a white one that I wear. But what we have to understand is this: they come in red, they come in brown, they come in black, they come in many different colors. Now I pretty much get these pretty cheaply. But if you live in the California, or you live in the LA area, you can actually go down to the fashion district, and I can actually it's a few places down there where we can actually buy the fringes. But what we also want to do is, if we have brothers and sisters cannot get access to them, because you'll be spending $3 to $4 a yard on most of this. Pretty much what it costs. The ribbon of blue, you can get 200 yards, and I get 200 yards mainly for about $10, which is that you can do many different shirts and many different things. But if we have brothers and sisters out there that can't get to these things, we all need to join together to where we need to assist one another. So the same is what I'm saying. So if you cannot get to these, and what we will do, if you need fringes, they come in a couple of different sizes. They come in 6-inch, they come in 4-inch, and they come in 2-inch. So it all depends on how long you want it. That's what it all depends on. But if you want it in 4-inch, 6-inch, or 2-inch, and you can't find them in your area, then what you do is shoot me an email. And I'm, elder.mjohnson@kjbu.org. And let me know what you need. And the only thing I would do, I'm gonna charge you shipping. But I pick them up for you for free. That's no big deal there, to where you can make sure you have them. But then we need to know what color you want. We need to know how long you want it. You want a 2, 4, 6-inch. And the ribbons of blue, they come in. I get them in 200 yards, so it's only $10. So that you can add that to it, but you might can get it, because I know you can go get them at your local Walmarts and different places like that. So if that's something you want to do, that's fine. Go and do that. Go and do it that way. But if you want a lot of it, we can get it there, because they sell it pretty much in bulk. So with that, the only thing you'll be charged for is just shipping of the product. There's no handling prices, none of that in there. But what we want to make sure of is that you can get a hold to it. As long as you can get a hold to it, and you can put them on your clothing, because you have another sister that's out there that actually she teaches people how to do the liquid, and to put them along your borders. So those I never tried. I always have them sewn on, but if she doing it, she said washes and all that. Best I can say is try it if that works, because I know a lot of brothers, same as me, we don't sew. You know, something that we should know how, but we don't sew. And those have to be done. Now, I also was questioned in emails behind, you know, being in white collar or blue collar employment arenas. Okay, so now again, if we're in white collar, which, you know, I work in the white collar arena, same thing. You have your t-shirts that you can put it right along your borders, and you're going to tuck it in your shirt, and you go to work. And the same thing is when you know what is going on. So if anything that happened, it's a reminder to let you know that, one, you're separated from other people. You can't do what other people are doing. You're supposed to be pleasing the Most High, because those fringes are to remind you of things that you are to be doing for Him. That's what these are for. So we don't want that to go out to where you out there and just putting them on because you supposed to wear them. That's it. No, you to wear them it's to remind you of different things that you're supposed to be doing. That's what they're for. So long as we do that, and long as we continue to keep the fringes, and the same thing with the women. You know, women, you guys work in professional arenas. You can put those borders right along your skirts, and please forgive me again. I tried to get with my wife and tried to get the names of different things, but you women have a lot of different names for a lot of different stuff, and I didn't remember it all. So that I do apologize. But I do know you can put it around your skirt, that undergarment, if you're in a professional arena. You can put it there. You can also, up under the blouse, you can put it there. But some might even see where they want to wear it on the outside. You do the same thing. But now what if you're in the blue collar arena? If you're in the blue collar arena, same thing. Some might want to put them on the inside. Some might wear them on the outside. And feel free to do either one. Because we're not here to please people. That's what we really have to understand. We're not here to wear those to please people. We're here to please the Most High. And with those, we can remember. That's the whole point of it. Same as He did with the rainbow. He didn't hide the rainbow and saying, you know, well, I'm going to put this out there, but only for me to remember. He's letting you know that's the covenant that He has with us. And we have to keep our covenant. We have to keep our side. So we have to be doing something on both sides. So, again, so we have brothers and sisters that's out there that need to get a hold of fringes and not, you know, probably not get robbed, and where people will start charging you $5, $10 a yard, because all they cost you, some of them is like $3 something a yard. Some I think is like $4. You know, very few you might get up to $5. But mainly the ones I have right here is like $3.50 a yard. And that's all it costs. And same thing if you do need them and you end up you having us to go get them for you. The same thing. You're gonna get the receipt from the store. That's the main thing. You're gonna get the receipt from the store, just showing you exactly what you're paying for it. Because there's no reason to where you charging usury on your brother, because the Bible tells you can't do that. So if you have a brother out there charging you usury, he's doing it wrong. So there's no reason for us to do that. Our only reason is to make sure we have brothers we scattered all over, and we can't get a hold to Fringes in certain areas. So we need to make it available to them. And that's it. So I don't see no harm in that. I don't see no harm, no foul. Or say like I'm in the LA area sometime once a week. Sometime I might be down there twice a week. Sometime I might be down there every other week. But the main thing is, when you shoot me an email, I'll let you know. I'll say, hey, I'll be down there this week. I can pick those up, and once I pick them up, I can shoot them to you by, and I give you the date. And then I ask you, do you want it the UPS the way that they ship it? If you want a 2-day, you want a 1-day, or you want it regular, however you want it done. And I make sure you get it at that whatever mechanism that you want to ship in. Basically, what we're doing. The second part, I need to take care of. And then, if you have any other questions about that, send me an email. That's the easy way to get a hold of me. We do have people who do send me emails, and then we correspond with each other to where if they want to talk, same thing. I'm not hard to get a hold to. You could see a few people on there that I actually I speak with sometime almost once a week, to where we'll talk. And most time it's not just about scripture. We're just sitting there just chit chatting, to where we're fellowship and getting to know each other as brothers and sisters on what we're supposed to be doing. So, and some of them have and it's not a business phone number. It's a personal phone number, to which I don't have a problem giving out. But I don't do it here personally on YouTube itself for the streaming wise, because we're not just streaming in this country, we're also streaming outside the country. So the main thing is, we want to make sure that we always have an avenue to where we can speak to one another. But if it's something that you want to talk about, if it's something, scriptures that you're having problems with, whatever, send me an email. Send me an email and just say, I would like to talk with you. I don't have a problem giving you my phone number. That's something I don't have a problem with. But if it's something to which you want to talk crazy and doing this and that, pretty much you'll get blocked. Don't have a problem blocking you. And if you're sitting there talking all this heresy, or you trying to convince to add to the books of the Bible, pretty much I'm not having it. Pretty much the way I am. And the other part, we had a big issue on the U.S. side, not on the U.K. side, but mainly on the U.S. side, where many people that's not Israel is soliciting, far as with me coming to sit and to teach with their church, and to be a regular member to sit there. And as I said, I thought I always make myself pretty much clear as when I teach. I'm here to teach Israel. That's pure. That's a zero-sum game right there. That's who I'm purely here to teach. Other ones tune in. We have no problem with that. But my primary reason here, my primary reason on here teaching, is to Israel. Period. That's who we want us to go to. That's who I go to. I will not sit or take a position in another church, which we already have one, would sit in another church to teach another nation. It's not going to happen. The financial gains and all that, it's already against 1 Peter 5:2. So those are things that I do not appreciate. And please, as the reason I'm doing this openly, because I want those emails to stop, because I get too many of them. And we get too many of those offers asking, and we refuse to do it. And it's for some reason they think if you keep asking, you'll give in. It's no reason, because it's not going to happen. So my primary reason here is to teach Israel. Period. And two, this is why we're getting into more teachings, and then hopefully within the next month or two, because they're working out a lot of different things, because we want to make sure some of our more personal teachings on the Precept side is not going to be public. That's another thing that most people are going to be finding out. because some of these teachings will not be public and only will be notified by the people who's registered. That's the reason why we were doing what we're doing. This is what they're going through, because we get a lot of emails with people saying, is this going on yet? No, it's not, because they locking down avenues to make sure that everybody can be in there, number one. Number two, we mainly want this going to Israel. Not the land, people. This is what we're doing, because a lot of our personal teachings that we're going to do, the precepts that are in there, what a lot of other people do, as with some of Israel, they like to go out and teach and make money with this. And this is something that the Bible highly is against, and something that it's against. I'm highly against it. And this don't make any sense. It makes no sense to where you charging for classes to teach them about their Heavenly Father. That's nonsense. That's craziness. The only thing they should have to do is register to where they can get locked in, to where you can go into a private sector and then you teach them. But to sit there to charge them money I'm talking about, you're no different than anyone else. So if they're doing that, to me, I wouldn't even touch that with a 10-foot pole. So, and then we have a lot of people that's sending in a lot of the teaching that they want to be on. So that's why you see a lot of these teachings that's popping up, and you see where you're seeing it, one next week and 1 week after. You'll see those falling in, because what we're doing is, if somebody has a true question on knowing a subject, we need to give answer to that, and that's what we're here for. So with that, if we have any other questions, if you guys want to send anything about more teaching, you need more clarification, all that, please send me an email, elder.mjohnson@kjbu.org. So right now we're going to get ready, we're going to get set up, we're going to get ready to switch over, and we're going to get into the teaching, because I like to take care of these before the teaching. We don't need these mixed in with the teaching. So basically that's why I came on early. So with that, we're going to say shalom for about 2 minutes, and then we're going to switch over. Okay, so let me get this set, and we're going to move over. Okay, again, welcome everyone. Shalom, shalom. This is Elder Michael Johnson from the Lost Sheep of Israel. Today, we're going to be going through a pretty good thing today. And what I want to do is get people to understand one thing, is that this Sefer Bible versus the King James, what I really want people to understand today is, we're going to not just go through this Bible in certain parts, but we're going to actually learn some things today, because it makes no sense to just show the incorrectness of this Bible, but we need to learn something in our Bible, because then it wouldn't make any sense. But this is what we're going to be doing. But we're going to learn about this Sefer Bible that many people has gone and went out and purchased, and this man name is Dr. Stephen Pingoin, whatever he want to call himself, and he calls himself the financial, chief executive officer of the Sefer Bible. But he calls many Israelites falling for this false doctrine book. and to use other Israelites also that uses this book to teach this word. So today, as I said, we're going to learn something today. Some know, but many don't know certain things about within our own Bible, which we're going to learn because this Sefer Bible Heresies it. And we're going to see the main reason why to stay away from books such as this. See, because what we have to remember is this wasn't part of ones I was showing that you worshiping the devil, which this was doing one of the same. But what we need to understand here with this Sefer Bible, what he do, he pull you completely away from what is truth. Completely away from what is truth. And we're going to go directly to his website where this Bible is. And we're going to find out some things. And he liked to use these words like comprehensive, which meaning it's a complete, including everything, nearly expected elements of a book being complete as one. This is what he uses. But we're going to find out that this book is actually a Hebraist book. And then we're going to see how he's talking about how he found errors about in the King James Bible. We're going to take care of all this. And the tricks they like to use to set us up, to make us fall. And this is the problem that we have. So we here at Sefer Bible, this is the person, he is the founder and chief executive officer of Sefer Bible Group. This is Dr. Stephen. This is literally your Satan. It's no other way to put it. It's no other way to change this. This is your Satan. Now, we're going to go through this part here and we're going to get understanding on him because he even says here, one, he's a political scientist with a doctorate of philosophy. That should be your key, what you watch out for right there. Philosophy. And an active attorney. See, these are things you need to watch out for. Now, he go even into in collaboration of groups and students of scripture. He's responsible. Understand what he's saying. He's responsible for the creation and publication of the Sefer Bible. A comprehensive restoration of the sacred scriptures in English language. Understanding what he's claiming. This is why we're going to spend time here and we're going to get understanding on what this man is doing. This is what he's using. He's literally putting himself as the authority of the English language and putting these scriptures together. Now, as a student of many languages, understand, now he's saying a student, including Greek, Hebrew, Russian, French, Spanish, and Italian. And an avid reader and author. Now, he's an avid reader and author and has over 30 books in the last several years. Understand what's going on. Because we're gonna pick this apart and understand. Now, he says executive officers of leadership have informed, led companies in publishing since 1982, journalism in 84, music publishing in 1985, wireless telecommunication in 93, broadband acquisition and delivery in 1996, fiber optic switching technology in 1998, laser digital television development in 2001, in biotechnology in 2004, and search engine optimization products, including development of patent technology in 2009. Now, this is all what he's done, but but you're going to see why I have to go here to where we want to understand who we're dealing with. That's why I want you to understand. Now, he was a candidate for the Attorney General, which he actually ran for it, but it don't mean he was a top candidate because he only picked up, I think, 2% or 5%. You can actually go research this and find this for yourself. In the Presidential Commission in 2008, Reagan Congressional Commission, he had two-time recipient of the Congressional Medal. See, these are things you have to go research to find out because this we couldn't find on him. But here's your key. This is why I'm over here in this area. He is a distinguished in both who's who and who in business. Why is this so important? I'll tell you why. Now, I own 2 businesses. That's why. That's reason number 1. Now, who's who? They solicit you. Understand what I'm getting ready to say here. They solicit the business owner to pay to be in who's who. They don't come to you and put you as who's who doing well in business. They solicit you to pay them money to list you in there as who's who, and they put whatever you want. But this is why he has this in there, because on the cover, on the surface, you won't know this. But a business owner who's been solicited by who's who knows this. That's why I want you to see this. He's active in promoting religious freedom. That should tell you enough right there. Because we're not practicing a religion. You actually practicing a lifestyle. That's one of the problems that most people have. Now, it goes on to delivering a complete restoration of the sacred scriptures and recently published. Understand what he's published. The white horse. Behold, the pale green horse. Behold, the red horse. Among other works, the Yom Kodesh. See, these are heresies that he's getting into. This is why you see some of these, the Peshat. These are heresies that he's dealing with. And he's not sitting there telling you this, because you have most people who teaches and uses these books are into that. Now, I'm going to show you even some, and then he even shows you in which are compilations and interpretations with Hebraic concepts of well-known and lesser-known scriptures. Understand what this man is telling you. He's literally controlling, and he wants control of your mind to where he can tell you whatever he wants, and you're going to believe he's the authority on it. Accomplished musician, and he also has a degree in piano performance, studied, Moscow, all this basically crap. But we're going to dig a little bit more in, because what we want to understand is when he's talking about theology, you're talking really about a theocratical deal with what you're dealing with. And when you're dealing with this theocratical mess that he's talking about, what you're dealing with is what if, assumes, untested, unproven, unsubstantiated. These are theocratical solutions. These are theocratical situations. They're not real, based on calculated through theory rather than experience or practice. This is when you get into philosophy. This is when you get into these things. This is what happens when you start dealing with people such as this. This is why when I showed you right up here, this philosophy, this is what he's into. He wanted to control different things. This is why certain people want to go, and they love to run to Josephus and Philo. This is why they like to run there. Now, Philo loved to follow this Greek. I'm trying to remember his name. He loved to follow this Greek guy who was a hardcore philosopher. Because philosophy, they philosophize anything. But let's move forward. We're going to look at this. Now, here's the story of this Bible. And they come to bring together the unbridged Heavenly Father in the world in printed form in the late 1990s. Understand what he's getting ready to say. This is what I want you to understand. What he's getting ready to say. And then we're going to start diving into these Bibles. We're going to start picking them apart. And what he's saying here, the group found and discovered many books in other texts were missing from the Bible. Now, how did he discover this? See, these are questions when you sit there and you're a Bible studier, when you study the Bible, that's why he say, study to show yourself approved. When you dealing with some people like this, you study what they're writing, because guess what? You want to make sure what he's saying is what he's doing. And he need to be able to back it up. Because he said the group's founder, talking about him, discovered that many books in other texts were missing from the Bible. How do we know this? Was he there? See, these are things we got to understand. And watch this. For instance, the Bible references Jasher by name. Yeah, and it mentions many other ones also, but that's beside the point. As well as several other books has been renamed. Understand what he's saying? They've been renamed. The book of Adudah, the book of Nathan, in addition. Now he's getting ready to get into some heresies, because now he's getting ready to inject this juice into you to make you start believing how smart he is. And all you got to do is go to Ecclesiastes 12:12. But that's beside the point. Let's stay to this. It says the Septuagint provide an entire series of books that have formerly been included in the Bible but weren't anymore. And then you got a comparison chart. But we're going to stay right here on this because we're going to go through this. But you can literally go to seferbible.net and you can get all this yourself. So Stephen began to read not only the books designated in the Apocrypha, but also other books that those were found in Dead Sea Scrolls, which is from the Qumran, but that's something else because we're going to get into it. And it says in early 2002, he began to compile what? His own Bible. Understand, this is where you have people teaching from what he's doing. So he compiled his own Bible for personal use. Who should this remind you of? The same man who was in Mormon, the same man who said the angel came down and he wrote all this stuff on golden tablets. He's professing the same thing. He's just doing it around another way. Understand where he's coming from. Understand the injection that he's putting in people. And then you have other Israelites validating this man. So as he did his own Bible, which include the books of Jubilees, the books of Enoch, and that's one we're going to get in. That's the first thing we're going to dive into. In 2006, Stephen and one of the Bible study partners, Brad, I just call him Brad the Dum Dum, were sharing information about various editions of the Bible. Now understand, these two is sharing information about various editions of the Bible and discussing the accuracy in these translations, and they discovered a similar interest in uncovering essential truth of the scriptures. These two men. Now watch this. See, this is where the university asked me to do this, because this was asked by them for me to do this, because this really was never really on my radar. But we're going to go through this. It says late in 2008, Stephen first suggested that the public domain copy of who? King James Bible. Why are you going at King James? Because you know that's the ruling king. That's the Bible that everybody got to go after. Why? Because he's been undefeated, undisputed for well over 400 years. So we're going to try to pull people away. And this is the only book that actually was done by an Israelite. And this is something that most people have an issue with. Why? Because they sit there and tell you this was a white homosexual man, did everything. But he wrote a book to Israelites, and it's only about Israelites, but you got this white guy wrote it. That's to get you away from the book. That's the problem. People have a problem with that. You can go right down to the UK and most people who might go to Europe, who might have visited Europe, and you know we on World Wide Web right now, you will see and depict many pictures of Israelites that look just like you. Even that Satanistic Pope bows down to a black image. Well known. These are things we need to understand. But let's keep moving. And it says it should be modified to the meaning of the Arctic. Now this he's switching words, but all he's talking about is Old English. Literally, that's all he's talking about. Arctic English, he just should have said Old English. And then in the result, in the first digital file serving baseline for the scriptures of the book, now called the Aleph Tav, which he want to use modern Yiddish Hebrew and write that out Sefer Bible. But he's calling Aleph Tav Cepher. And then now, here go your key. There were notorious errors in the King James, but this is the one they based their book off of. This now is showing you the stupidity of him. But you got to remember, he got doctor at the end of his name. So it's notorious errors, but his Bible is written based on that, and they switched everything around. But the King James was errors. And then it says, we began to unreveal some of these first. We compared the KJV to the Tinsdale Bible, which preceded it. Now, the Tinsdale, most people can't hardly read it. I have a copy of it right now. You can't even really read the Bible because the English language was just starting to be developed. That was one of the things. Now, but he goes on more, which proceeded in following compare the correct of some of the conclusions made by the King James editors. Why are you saying King James editors? See, these were the King James translators that King James actually appointed to translate the Bible from the Hebrew and from the Greek. And to let people know, personally, now you can get the New Testament all in Hebrew. But to tell you the reason why it was in Greek, because you have to remember that's where we were. We was in captivity, and guess what? You have many of them had to have right, and they rewrote that in Greek. So it wasn't written by a bunch of Japhet children. It was written by Israelites in Greek. As you remember, Epiphany said we're all going to be one people. And if you was caught with a Bible, that Bible was burned, but then you was also killed. But then as time went on, and they start rewriting and re-putting it into their language, because guess what? Many of their children, same as you have children come today, where people come from different countries and they come over here and they don't speak the language. And they come over here with children. Some come over here with infants. And once that infant start growing, what that infant going to learn? It's going to learn English. So guess what? They need to start transferring it into that language to where these children will understand it. That's all that was happening. But let's keep going through it. He says, so, however, we corrected. They corrected. These two nuts. They corrected the New Testament by using the Stephanus texture raptus. Most people will sit there and they ride on this. They ride on this right here. And this is a big issue when you deal with it in the main arena. Because they just said, well, it was done on texture raptus. No, it's not. But then they even go more. They're saying comparing each term in what? In the Strong's Greek Concordance. So Ashkenazis are involved. Because this is right where that comes from. The Strong's Greek Concordance, that's where that comes from. And then you also got the Greek lexicons. Same as I tell anybody. Why are you using it? Because that's where it's coming from. It's coming from Ashkenazis. So that's why I tell people don't even go to Blue Letter. Why are you going to Blue Letter? And the same one that you're talking against is the same one feeding you this information. This is the problem. This is what we need to understand. Now it goes on more, including several Greek online dictionaries in the Septuagint. Initially, we used Hebrew Masoretic texts for the purpose of ciphering the underlying Hebrew. Now understand what he's saying. So he's saying for cipher. So getting the understanding on what it's really saying. But to show you he don't know what he's talking about, we're going to get into. Because that's where we're going to find all his heresies. So let me see where he was at. He was referencing the scrolls, including the Dead Sea Scrolls. In addition, he made comparison across other English texts, most of which have glaring errors and omissions. He's calling himself, he's the authority. This is what he's doing. To rely on other textual Raptist editions, the Latin Vulgate, the Codex. See, all these are literally, you shouldn't even be dealing with. The Shem Tov Hebrew Gospel of Matthew shouldn't even be touching. As well as the source of using state-of-the-art software. Now you're going to tell you he's using state-of-the-art software. What is this going to do for you? Please tell me. Please let me know what he's going to do for you. And he's sitting here, what he's doing, he's boasting to let you know as he's thinking he's doing all this stuff. But watch how he's going to get even more into it. Then he said, as you might imagine, we simply were stunned at what we found. First, the most important names. Now he's getting into just silliness. The important names. The Bible have not been translated. Even transliterated mean it give the same meaning in another language. Basically, that's all he's saying. Instead, the names were substituted. This is the lie. We found that this alarming, particularly the light of the scriptures referencing being expressed about publishing and declaring the name. Now, watch how this lie works. This is when we elected to add the sacred name of the text, which was not an easy task. Now, I want to pause here for one hot second. Now, we're going to use my name, Michael. That's my name. Michael is not something to where I do where everybody got to choose some biblical. No, this is my God-given name, Michael. Now, with that, if I go over to France, I'll still want to be called Michael. But the transliterated name of Michael in France is Michel. Understand. But since in the thing over here is that my sister, she passed a while back, and me and her was like bubble gum and bubble gum. We stuck together on many things. But the main thing with that was her name was Michelle. So what I'm saying in that is, so if I go over to France, I don't want to be called Michelle. I'm going to be called Michael. So it's the same as within Hebrew and anything else. So what they do to transliterate it. So the same thing with some people have a problem with Jesus, which I get. I completely get, because they had tied so many false people to it. So I get that. So, but we have most people, if you know the Hebrew name, which is Yahushai, use the name. In English, they use the transliterated name for him. It's a transliterated name. Jesus. That's all they did. It's transliterated. But his actual name is Yahushai, on what he was named. That's all that happened. That's why when they use Jesus, they had to use the same thing on what it meant. It meant salvation. So they had to use the same thing. It meant salvation, but we're going to use the transliterated English version, and we're going to say Jesus, it means the same as Yahushua, which means salvation. That's all they did. Nothing more. But I get why people don't like to use Jesus. I get that. I completely get that. Because when you say Yahushua, it's no mistaking. They know exactly what they're talking about. So when Israel want to hold on to that, hey, more power to them. I'm one of the same. But when people come up to you and say Jesus, that's fine. You know where they're coming from, but just listen to what they're saying. And then you're going to find out if they talking about another one or is they talking about the one that you're talking about. Because many of them are going to be talking about another one. But let's keep moving forward. It says, and they say we were misled by the Masoretic text and had reached our own conclusion. However, testing the sacred name in Israel, this is where it's just pure nonsense. So they tested it in Israel. They should have been testing it in Jerusalem because Israel is talking about you. But we know what they're saying because they changed it. So Israel, for a period of 2 years, and came to conclude that the name is properly pronounced Yahuwah. Now, show you how stupid this is. They tested the name with a bunch of Ashkenazis. That's what they did. Which they didn't do that. Saying, what's the name? They asking them, what is the name? What is the name? What is the name? And they saying they doing it in Israel, so they're cool with that. But please understand, they're not finding out the proper name. Why are you not checking the book? Why are you not looking at Paleo Hebrew to get the proper name? This is the idiocy what he did. He said, once we reached the conclusion, we decided to correctly transliterate. Now they're getting ready to make their own name. Because that's what that actually means. Now, he been a doctor. I don't know if he knew what he was saying right here, but transliterate is mean you giving it an English version of a meaning of a name, and you're going to give the meaning of what that name actually says. That's what this is saying. In the other names in the text, this result over to 3,800 name changes. Again, we were stunned what we had learned because all the names have particular meanings, which that part is true. 100% true. But everything else he's talking about is a lie, which reveals much more, which again, that part is completely true. The reason why I look at many times I go into my Hebrew books to do just what he just said, because the name pulls many of my precepts on how I find where things are based on names alone, based on words alone. That's why I do that. So it's no secret, because guess what? I want all my brothers and sisters to know this, to where everybody walking around with a double-edged, sharp, super sharp sword, ready to cut heads and take names. That's why. But let's keep going, because he gonna Heresize some more. He says, we corrected other glaring mistakes. For instance, every, not some, not one or two, every English Bible make a huge error in the Songs of Solomon concerning the gender of the speaker, which of course completely destroys the text. Are you real? Is this guy for real? And I'm serious. And people bought his book. And all you have to do is go here before you bought his book. And they bought his book. But guess what? They bought his book based on trusting some other Israelite. And not seeing what this nut is saying. Completely destroys it. In addition, virtually every English Bible referenced to Lucifer as the son of the morning. This reference has confused many believers because the Savior is referred to as the morning star, which is true. But watch this. Excuse me. In review, indicates the name Lucifer is not translation, or transliterated, which is not true. See, this is the lie. And he's going to go on with his lie. But a substitution. It's not a substitution. It's actually Lucifer. You can actually even go and look at this right directly in Hebrew, and it's going to say Lucifer. Right in the Hebrew. And then it says, which deemed to be unacceptable. Additionally, every Bible we have ever seen actually leaves out the word in this passage. And the words mean howling. No, it don't. See, and that's what he gonna get into. But this is the problem, because we even have many brothers love to send me emails And yeah, some of them even put up comments. And see, now they ordered to take them down. Because I told them, we're going to tell you what. Because when they saying this not what this means, this mean this. See, don't sit there and tell me what it means. And I know you running to the blue letter Bible. See, this is the problem that we have. When you run into the blue letter Bible and you're not studying to show yourself approved and you're not doing your due diligence in your own Bible and you running to get it from Ashkenazis, it's nothing to talk about. You wasting my time. Because here, we're going to study scriptures. Here, as I would say, and we're going to find out, as I tell many people, same thing with my studies, King James Bible. And I will make this perfectly clear again. The King James Bible is the closest Bible to the Hebrew version of the Bible. Period. That challenge has always been out there. Many people that took that challenge and have failed. Why? Because that's the closest thing. Why you think it's been sitting out there for over 400 years untouched? They do not make revisions. They made corrections back then on spelling errors. On spelling errors as far as names and words. Never a revision. And you see every other Bible, same as the Sefer Bible, is the 3rd edition. Revisions. But let's keep moving. It says, and in the, they want to call Aleph Tov, which is still, it's not the Cepher. There's no confusion between Halil. Now, that ain't what that says. It says Lucifer, but that's beside the point. And it says the son of the howling morning. And Yeshua, the Hamashiach, the star of the morning. I'm talking about, he is completely heroizing the Bible. But we're going to get into it because we're going to dig right into his Bible. It says another glaring error is the genealogy that's set forth for Matthew. Now, this one almost knocked me out of my chair. Might knock some of you guys out of your chair who never heard of the Sefer Bible. But this says in Matthew 1 is that Miriam, who's Mary, it is not the genealogy of her husband Joseph. Please make sure everybody's sitting down. Please make sure you're not drinking no coffee. Please make sure you're not drinking no water. Please make sure you're not eating anything on what we're about to read. It says, count the generations, 14, 14, and 14. Except every English Bible in the last set has 13. But watch how you do this. The error was easily corrected because it was an error to him. Once we realize that Joseph, or they want to say Joseph, was the name of her father. I'm just pausing just for the effect. This is literally what they're saying. That this was her father. But we're going to end up looking at that. And then it says even more. In Matthew 23, 1 and 2. Is another continuing error using the word they when the word he belongs. Additionally, he looked over the Greek. You can look over the Greek text for years and never find the word Gentile. I can go right to Genesis 10 and find it right there. But that's beside the point. This is the heresy that he's doing. What is misleading term has become. Paul uses the Greek word enos. But just get what he's going to be doing in a minute, which means other people, not Gentiles. Yeah, I know. Y'all just calm down, please, because this man is completely crazy. I'm talking about, we thought number 45 was crazy, but I think he takes the cake. Because 45 is doing people. This man is actually challenging the Most High. So that's where our problem is. See, another critical substitution has been misleading the world for centuries. Understand, for centuries. But he found it. And it is found in Revelation 13:18. There are a number of 600, 66. And the number is not translated or a transliteration. But once again, a substitution. Substitution based on the theory that gematria. Now, I have to pause there because it's a doctrine out there based on gematria. You can go get books on this, on gematria. Some are going to say gematria. They're going to pronounce it different. But this is dangerous doctrines. Doctrines that pull you away from the Bible, put you into a whole bunch of heresy. This is why people who talk, I tell you, keep your head in King James. If you don't read Greek, Hebrew, keep your Bible, keep that in King James. Get you 2 or 3 of King James so you can precept your stuff and work it out. Because that's what we're going to be doing. But I'll show you how you work that out. Because sometimes people say, yeah, I need 2 or 3 books. Yeah, many times you need 2 or 3 of those King James Bibles to where you got to keep that text right there. Don't put a marker there. Open up another one so you can go check it. You can match it up. That's how you do that. But let's keep going. It says, which it wasn't, but the number reflect the order of the Greek alphabet, which they don't. The use of 666, therefore, is based upon an assumption founded on error to render the substitution rather than the translation. In the cipher, you will find the original source of the letter Greek. Really. This is what they're saying they have done. So we looked over the text and discovered that the Old Testament was incredibly out of order. Then he talks about how they straighten that out. This is the problem. Then the decision was made not to conclude the books of the Apocrypha. All were canonized. Now, I need to pause on canonized. Why are they canonizing books? See, you have Gentiles telling you what books are authentic and ones that are not. That's what they was doing. When King James give you what the books are, he telling you what the books are. The ones that are good. You don't run outside of that. But they telling you, this is no good, that's good. This is no good, that's good. And they tell you, at the Council of Trent, which were included in the 1611 King James Bible, then it started running through a lot of other books. See, and then it gets into the Qumran, which is the Dead Sea Scrolls. But we have to understand what is going on all the time. This guy is complete heresy. I'm talking about he's Satan to the 10th power. He's full of Satan. Then we're gonna see another part in here. We made a decision because of the number of references in the Bible itself. Even the discussion of the fact not only found in the book of Jasher, which were made by the Apostle Paul. When you look at the Aleph Tav Cepher, you will see the names of the book has changed to the original Hebrew titles. For example, Enoch. To connote. Okay. When you're English, you speak in English. But the book of Enoch is not a book of Enoch. Everybody knows Enoch died. Most people think translated mean he beamed up to heaven. Translated mean he died. He didn't start following God till he was, I believe, 60, 65. I'm trying to remember, but 60, 60, 65. But you got to remember, Enoch was feeble-minded. This is all in Scripture. So I'm not telling you nothing that's not in Scripture. He was a feeble-minded person. So he took him to keep him in that state. But let's go through some more, because he have a lot of other stuff that was in here about this book, on how he found different things and what was wrong with it. So as he went through this, and as he's sitting there saying, claiming himself here, this is what he did. But what we're going to do now, we're going to look at his book, because we're going to get into this fallen angels. This is the first one we're going to deal with. So let's go to his fallen angels. and we're going to see about his fallen angels. Is this a truth or a myth? Fallen angels, true or myth? The Sefer Bible versus the King James Bible. So we're going to deal with this. So in their book, he got the book of Enoch in here. So we got to go to chapter 7, and we're going to get an understanding on his book. So I made copies to put it up here, and it says, happened after the sons of men have multiplied in those days that the daughters were born to them, elegant and beautiful. And when the watchers, they talking about the angels, and the sons of heaven, being held them, they became emerald with them, saying to each other, come, let us select for ourselves women of progeny of men, and let us beget children. Now, these are angels. Paul tells you, every flesh is different. How these spiritual beings going to have sex with earthly beings? Makes no sense. How spiritual beings have sperm? See, all this goes hand in hand. Even though you have sick people out there, you have sick people having sex with animals, and they ejaculating in these animals. Are they bearing children of them? No, because they don't mix. But this is the problem. But now you have an angels doing this. So then it says their leader, Shemziah, this made up name, it says, said to them, I fear that we may perhaps be indisposed to performance of this enterprise, and that I alone shall suffer for this grievous crime. Understand what he's talking about. Now he's cast out of heaven, but he's worried about a grievous crime. But you kicked out of heaven. Understand the stupidity already that's happening in the book. If you kicked out of heaven, why do you worry about some crime? But let's move forward. But they answered and said, we all swear and bind ourselves by mutual exertion that we will not change our intentions, but execute our projected undertaking. And they swore to all together and bound themselves by mutual exertion, and the whole number was 200. Now, so it's 200 angels. Where they get this number from, I don't know. But this is what Enoch, the book of Enoch, comes up with. And it says, and they swore and bound themselves 200, who ascended above Ardis, which at the top of Mount Charming. And the mountain therefore was called Mount Charming, because they had sworn upon and bound themselves by mutual exertion. But by their names and of their chiefs. This is where, we're going to get into it, because I'm not going to go through all these little Hebraist names. But the main thing, understand what it's saying, chiefs. Keep that, write it down, keep it in mind, hold on to it. Because when we get to the King James Bible, you get ready to find out some lies. But we know these are chiefs. One, and what it says, who were their leader? Write it down. I even wait for you. Go get a pencil and a paper. This was the chief angel. Write that down. Because we're going to find out something. Because these are all the angels, and he was the chief angel. Then it gets into all the other ones that the people are going to teach about. And then it says, these were the perfect of 200 angels, and the remainder were all with them. Then they took women, each choosing for himself, whom they began approaching. Let me go down to verse 10. The approaching, and they took women choosing for himself, whom they began to approach, with whom they cohabitated. Now, so saying they cohabited, so now they having sex with them. Understand. Let's understand what's going on here. So they having sex with these women, spirits, making sperm go into these women in having children. But the crazy part, they getting people to believe this. This is the problem. This is why it's so hard for me, I guess, to wrap my head around it. Because they get people to believe this. A spirit having sexual intercourse with flesh. And children come from it. And then it says, and then whom they began to approach, and with whom they cohabitate, teaching them sorcery, incarnations, and dividing the roots of trees. And the women conceiving brought forth giants. Here go your keys. This is where it just get plain just stupid. It brought forth giants and bore to them 3 races first. The great giants. Understand, the great giants. The giants brought forth Nephilims. I'll wait. Please have a pencil. Write this down. They brought forth Nephilims. Please write this down. Because we're gonna deal with that. And it says, and the Nephilim brought forth Eloids. Whatever they're supposed to be doing. And they existed in increasing in power according to their greatness. Let me drop down. In their greatness, their stature was each 300 cubits. I'm sorry I didn't have a picture to show you the differences, but I truly forgive your brother. Truly forgive your brother for that. Because I want you to see I'm 6'2". And I just wanted to put a picture of me standing by something 450 foot tall, because that's what this is saying. That stature is 450 foot tall. So please forgive me. But this 300 cubits tall in their stature is 450 foot. I'm stuck on this. I'm talking about it's 450 foot. Think about it. Now it even gets some more. These devoured all the labor of men until it became impossible to feed them. When they turned themselves against men in order to devour them. So this is part of what went on here. Let me see. So, and then they began to injure birds, beasts, reptiles, fish, and eat other flesh and drink in their blood. They done started eating people. This is the understanding we need to understand on what this is in the Sefer Bible. Angels growing 450 foot tall and started eating people. But they added these angels, and now we're going to start looking at even more. Chapter 8. Azazel taught men to make swords, knives, shields, breastplates, and fabrication of mirrors, and the workmen of bracelets and ornaments, and use of paint and beautifying their eyebrows, stones, and every valuable. They selected all kinds of sorts of dyes so that the world became altered. Really. This is part of the problem. And it just goes in, and it just constantly goes into more and more and more and more. Where certain ones taught certain things. Certain, you see the fornication, but it says this one, taught all sorcery and divers of roots. Another one taught solutions of sorcery. Another one, the observance of stars. The other one taught signs. The other one taught astronomy. The other one taught other motions of the moon. This is the heresy that this book is talking about. But you have people believing this. Many are called. Few are chosen. Remember that. It's not in teaching, but I'm just saying, remember that. Because if you can fall for this, you'll fall for anything. Let's look at 9. So then it got, you got Raphael. They use a lot of names. They said, down from heaven saw that the quantity of blood which was shed on the earth and all the iniquity which was done upon it, said to one another, the voice that cries out, the earth is deprived and have cried even at the gates of heaven. And now to, O you, Holy One of heaven, the souls of men complain, saying, bring judgment upon us, El Elyon. This is another Hebraist name, but it says, then they said to their Anoni, which is another Hebraist name, which you shouldn't use, but that's beside the point. The king Anoni, and then it goes into more, the throne of the glory forever and ever, and the name is sanctified, glorified, and you are blessed and glorified, and you have made all things and possess power over all things, and all things are open manifest before you. Basically, what this is getting into. But let's look at King James. Actually, let me go down because I think it's another part in here. Yeah. Where he taught the sorcery, whom he had given authority over those who associated with him, and he had gone together with the daughters of men and had laid with them and became polluted and revealed their sins to them. The women likewise have brought forth giants. Just heresy throughout. But we need to see what actually going to be going on. And then it says, then it came to the gates, and their groaning ascended, nor came to escape to the upright and committed on earth. You know all things before it exist. You know these things has been done by them, yet you do not speak to us. What on account of these things are we to do to them? I'm talking about straight silliness. But now we're going to look at chapter 20, and it says these are the names of the angels who watch. And then it gives you the name. These are holy angels. Clamor, Raphael, the holy angels who, this is just plain, just silliness. And then the world luminaries. And you need to see this luminary. It's talking about a bearer of light, which I don't think he got that either. But that's another problem within this. Other mankind make virtue and commands of nations. See, and the holy angel who was over the rocko of the children of the men that transgressed, then it got these fake names, holy angels who was over the serpents. So, over paradise and over, so these serpents are talking about the serpents like in Genesis. This is why we're going to see the heresy. Because it gets into more. So now we're going to look at the King James Bible. And basically, this is why we run this way. Because that hyena is a Sefer Bible. This is the King James Bible. This is what we're going to run. This is why we don't play. This is why we go. We take care of it. We move the women out the way because some women tries to handle that, but they need to step back and let the male take care of his business. Once we let the male take care of his business, he takes care of this. He puts to death all fakeness. He put to death all falsities. He removed all fake King James Bibles. We know this. We know exactly what this is about. So we're going to look at the King James Bible, who's been king for the past 400 years. So let us understand who Satan is, because most people don't know who Satan is and what Satan is actually about. But we're going to show the understanding. And if you look at animals and men, the same as you look at the lion and hyena, you can have many females. And you have hyenas will come in and take from females, but one male, they will disperse. One grown, full seasoned male, they will disperse. Because that one male is truth. You mess with him, you gonna die. That's what he lets you know. And this is the main part here where we're gonna get the understanding before we go into it. Because here I want you to understand the difference. These female lions is feeding, but now these hyenas have came in, and now they have to fend off these hyenas because these hyenas do not respect the females or the young males. They don't respect them, and so they can come in and they can make them be mixed up. This is why it's held this way. And see, same thing, how they sitting there and they going and taking over this. But you're going to see, when you're going to see one male, literally one male going to come in and take care of this. So as it's going to go on, you're going to see exactly what is happening. As they sitting there and they fighting and they going over and they have taken the food on what and this was they wanted to accomplish. This is the same with the King James Bible. They will run off young males. They will also beat off females. And they will keep them in what? Total confusion. This is what the Sefer Bible and many other Bibles are about. They're about confusion. That's why this is showing this way. This is why we have to look at it this way. They will, and then they make them run, and they want to run, they want to hide to protect themselves because guess what? It's too much confusion. They don't know what to do. And they'll keep them there until they can finish eating off all the food. This is what they do. So the same thing, they don't want you to feed on truth. So as they sitting there and they're eating and they feel everything is fine, everything is dandy, but then you're going to have the truth going to come. And when the truth comes, everything changes. Just one. All you need is one who is a truth. And he takes care of that. Now, as he's sitting there taking out this one, some going to come and try to partially save this. But it's not going to work on the damage that's already done. Because truth will always prevail. So as they sit there to try to get him off, but you'll see as he's going off and he's going to get ready to try to take out another one, they're going to show you back on what this one is about. And you're going to see right here, it's going to show you right back where that one's is a wrap. Because it was fake. We're not dealing with falsities. So let's go over here to Revelations 12:7. And it says, and there was a war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. The dragon is singular. Understand what I'm saying here. That's why I wanted you. They're saying these angels over on that side, but they fought against the dragon. And the dragon fought and his angels. Understand this. Let's make sure we're going to keep everything tight here. Verse 8. And prevail not, neither were there a place found any more in heaven. Why? Because verse 9. In the great dragon, singular, not plural, singular. That old serpent, singular, not plural. Called the devil, singular, not plural. And Satan, singular, not plural. Why am I making this? Because I want you to understand exactly who this is talking about. We need to understand completely what this is talking about and who he is. It says, which deceiveth the whole world. Who? Satan. You see, this is singular. He was cast out unto the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. What is I'm saying? He was cast out to the earth with all heaven. First, we need to understand Satan is not an angel. That's the problem. That's what I'm trying to get you to see. That's what I want you to understand. Satan is not an angel. But why is the Sefer Bible calling him an angel? 2, the chiefs, like the 7, they talk about Satan is by himself. When Satan even had Yahushua up on that mountain, he wasn't with 7 other ones. He was by himself. He's just like, he said, just like in Isaiah 14, he said he's going to be just like the Most High. The Most High said he shares his glory with no one. Satan is the same way. But you got 7 chief angels all made a pact. Just keep that in mind. They was cast out with him. So let us understand exactly who Satan is. So it's not Satan's, it's Satan. But let's see who he is and let's see what he looked like. Because this is the problem with they trying to say that Satan is an angel. Satan is not an angel. Ezekiel 28, picking it up at 13. Thou hast been in the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering. The sardis, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. Why? These, the same as a diamond ring, when it's tried in the fire, what? They become clear. Same as those other with those different colors, they become clear with those colors, but they're perfect in their states. They've been tried in the fire. That's why you see this here. And it says the workmen of the tabrets and of thy pipes. Why is this talking about pipes? Most people don't know, but just like I said, it used idiom. Those pipes, that means this dude can sing. That's why you see most people that talk about, well, Satan, he was this great singer. That's what this is talking about. Was prepared for thee in the day thou was created. So what is all this talking about? Those precious stones, colored and shining, was purified with fire. His pipes, meaning his voice, was unmatched. That's all it's saying. His voice was completely unmatched. Verse 14. Thou art the anointed cherubim. Cherubim is not an angel. Period. And we're going to show the distinction between the two. And now I said thee so, and thou was on the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Why? Because it was purified. So before moving and seeing angels such as Michael, you walking up. However, if you seen an anointed cherubim, or if Mary seen one, she would have had a problem. See, but she seen Gabriel. You see, many other people have seen angels. But let's say if Mary seen the cherubim, which she would have had that same reaction. Let's go to Ezekiel 14. 10 and 14, I'm sorry. It says, every one had 4 faces. What? Anointed cherubims. Cherubims have 4 faces. You think Mary would have stood there and been cool about it if she seen a cherubim? If Gabriel poured up on her with 4 faces? The first face was the face of a cherubim. It don't say what that cherubim looked like. The second face was the face of a man. The third face, the face of a lion. The fourth face, the face of an eagle. You think Mary would have sat there and been cool? You think Samson's mother and father would have been there and been cool? Four faces of a cherubim. That was Satan. That was Lucifer. These are things we have to look at. Satan looks like not an angel. Angel has one face. When Gabriel rode up on her, one face. Verse 15. And the cherubims were lifted up. This is the living creature that I saw by the river of Shebar. So now he's telling you about a vision he's seen of a cherubim. Now, we're going to find out some people get mixed up here. Verse 16, and when the cherubims went, the wheels went by them. What are these wheels? See, this is teachings within itself. And when the cherubims lifted up their wings in the mount from the earth, the same wheels turned not from beside them. What are these wheels? Most people think they talking about car wheels. It's not talking about that. Because he's going to even clarify more about that. Verse 17, and we'll break it down. It says, then these stood, the wheels stood, and when they were lifted up, these lifted up themselves also. For the spirit of the living creature was in them. You see that? In them. Same as Christ is in you. Just like I said, this is teaching within itself. Just this right here. But we picking apart that Hebraist Bible. But I'm showing you the difference that Satan, that serpent called the devil, is not an angel. He has an angel that was assigned to him. That's why when they was kicked out, all of them was kicked out. Now, let me show you the bad part. Most people will sit there and say, well, all those angels tripped. Show it to me in the Bible. He found iniquity in Satan. The cherubim and the whole group got kicked out. Understand that one vine with those angels was coming out of messed up the entire bunch. They all got put out. That's how that works. It wasn't that they all started doing it. No. That one vine messed it up and it was running off of him. Verse 18. And the glory of the Lord departed from off the threshold of the house and stood over the cherubims. So now he stood up over the cherubims. So the glory lifted up, meaning in the doorway of a house, because that's all that means. So the doorway of a house, and it stood over the cherubims. And it goes on down and it says in verse 19, and the cherubim lifted up their wings in the mount up off the earth of my sight, that when they went out, the wheels also were beside them, as everyone stood at the door. Same as I was saying what it was, of the east gate in the Lord's house, and the glory of God of Israel was over them above. Making this perfectly clear. This is what is going on. So, the four faces of the creatures, the two sides of the wing, and they have two sets of wings. Show me an angel that have a wing. See, this is the switch that they give you and they put on you, telling you this is what these are. Angels don't have wings. Cherubims do. But we're going to get more into that. So we got to understand what these are. See, because these are protectors of the Most High. Verse 20. This is the living creature that I saw under God of Israel by the river of Shebar. And I knew that they were the cherubims. See, these are some heavy hitter boys here. This is not what you're talking about. This is Michael. Why do you think Michael was contending with Satan over Moses' body? He only can rebuke him. He can't do nothing to him. You're dealing with a cherubim. He can rebuke him, but he needs the Most High to take care of this. Ezekiel 28, picking up at 15. Thou was perfect in thy way when that was created, until iniquity was found in thee. And how you found it in him? Because it was on his heart. When he was created, he found sin in him. How? Because verse 16 going to tell you, for the multitude of that merchandise, thou hast filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherubim, from the midst of the stones of fire. When he's throwing him out, he's throwing all the angels out with him that's tied to him. His angels was tied to him. Same as it is in heaven, same as it is on earth. You had captains over 50, as he told Moses. Guess what? No telling how many captains he was over. It's telling you the same thing. Verse 17. Thy heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground and will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee. So they can see who he is, see what he's about. Because what? He was all about himself. His beauty was beside himself. Many it is today. But this is not the subject that we really focusing on. He will be cast to the ground. So when you see Revelations 12 and 9, that's what he's talking about. Why? Because iniquity was found in his heart. Satan wanted his own throne. This is what was going on here. This is why this was going on. This is why this was happening in that way. Satan is not an angel. Now we're going to go over here in Isaiah 14:12. Thou art fallen from heaven, O Lucifer. Same as he said. He's going to put him in son of the morning. Thou art cut down to the ground, which doeth weaken nation. We just seen this in Ezekiel. Now Lucifer actually means light bearer. That's why I said luminaries. These are keys we need to understand, which how he's Hebraizing his Bible. Halil, which he's saying it actually means, describes the king of Babylon, not Satan. He actually got a word partially right, but he's actually talking about something technically in Greek, and he don't know it. Because that's all Halil means. It means king of Babylon. That's all it actually means. So, verse 13, thou hast said in thy heart, exactly what it's saying. I, not we, I will ascend into heaven. See that? His book of Enoch that's in there, saying it's a group that I will ascend into heaven. I, you see, I, it's no I in team. This is a group. It's no I in group. I will ascend. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God and sit upon the mountain of the congregation. I will sit. I will exalt. I will ascend. It don't say we nowhere. This is what the problem is. Verse 14. I, singular, will ascend above the heights of the cloud. I will be like the Most High. Where do we say he's going to be like? It's going to be a group of them. They don't say it nowhere. He's going to be like the Most High by himself. Satan is alone. However, he has workers. Satan's name was the light bearer, which he can transform himself into an angel of light. Why? He's a cherubim. He can do many things. In what he do? He can inject the same false light into false teachers and preachers, and his spirits enter into their flesh, and he control your moods, your thoughts, and your actions. This is what he's doing. He don't come as this brute beast as what they depict, showing you on TV. He'll come as a cool person. Let's go to 2 Corinthians and get a better understanding on what this is talking about. It says, for such are false apostles. Who? These same Satan boys. Deceitful workers. Satan boys. Transforming themselves into apostles of Christ. Transforming, faking it. Making you think these are bearers of light. Gonna give you a little bit of truth and gonna inject a ton of lies to you. This is what they're going to do. This is why they're going to get you tied up into. Verse 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself. See, it's still saying Satan himself to transform into an angel of light. So don't trip when his little demons change their ministers into righteousness. Because that's what he's going to do. However, Satan, the devil, is one. His followers are devils or demons. But Satan, the devil, is the father of all things for those lies. But that's why we're going to look at 15. It says, therefore, there's no great thing that his ministers, his little demons, his little Satanistic devils, also be transferred into ministers of righteousness, whose end should be according to their works. This is why so many people are going to get tied up. This is why you got so many doctrines out there. This is why you got Israelite boys out here running with these Sefer Bibles, teaching you about Enoch when they should be teaching you about God. But this is what's going to happen. John 8:44, it makes it clear. Ye of your father the devil. In the lust of your father he will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. Why? Now see the same thing. Their book was so solid. It's so solid. Why they don't make it available for free? Online or some other avenue on their site. You have to actually purchase their Bible. Because you can't get it no other way. You have to actually purchase that Bible. So it says again, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Why? Because that is the way Satan rolls. So, not the devils, but a devil. He is the father. In fact, the same as people look at Nephilims, which we're going to get into, which it spoke about, which we've seen, was stolen from Nephilims, which is nothing more than temple servants, which we talked about that before. But we're going to reiterate this so we know exactly what's going on. These are not fallen angels or per se. So look at this. Let's go over to Nehemiah 10:28. And let's understand. It says, and the rest of the people, the priests, the Levites, the porters, the singers, the Nephilims, same thing, all they has separated themselves from the people of the lands unto the what? The law of God. Now, it's also pronounced the same way as Nephilims. But then you also have these other ones. And I'm going to show you how they actually mix this and tied all this up and messing people up. Because they couldn't use Raphaims, which is another part of Nephilim that they use. But the reason they don't like to use Raphaim, because Moses broke them off. The kings in Genesis broke them off. We're going to look at. And it wouldn't come off that smart. So Raphaim don't mean nothing but giants. The Moabites called them Emims. And all you have to do is reference Deuteronomy 2:11. You'll see that giant was also called Acronyms. But this war was fought in Genesis. We're going to look at this in Genesis 14:5. It says, on the 14th day came Shealamar, and the kings that were with them, they smote the Raphaims. See, these was giants, but they always got their butt whooped when they went against people of God. This is what these are. But watch how we're going to see how this is going to mix. So they made minor changes in this thing, and they came with this mix-up of Nephilims, and they just changed a couple of words, a couple of letters in it, and these temple servants mixed with giants, and named Raphaim equals Nephilim. So all they did is made a little change. They took Raphaims plus Nephilim and came up with Nephilims. This is all they did. We have giants mixed with temple servants and came up with Nephilims. That's all they did. Nothing more. And Nephilims are fallen angels. So we have giants, servants of the temple for God, equals fallen angels. This is the problem. Then they want to tell you cherubims are the one angels. See, this is what they wanted to get into. Then we're going to look at some of this genealogy that this Sefer Bible gets into. And you cannot find a verse even stating the lie that Mary even is from the house of David. Nowhere in Scripture. You will find that Mary is from the house of David. What's even worse, the Most High don't even have sperm. Then it'd be him having incest with his daughter. But let's look at this and see what they got here. Let's go down here and we're gonna see what he has in here, because he writes a lot of stuff here. So the sacred name, speaking of the Bible, the words of the Lord through the both texts of the Old Testament, the Lord which is a substitution. It is not a transliteration, because the word replaces the Hebrew name, causing the tetragrammaton. See, all this, he pretty much telling a bunch of crap and a bunch of lies. And see, and then this should be your second key. When it was only in the 2nd century BC that the rabbis, see, because he's holding to what these people actually are. He actually holding them as that title. But we're going to go down to this. I want to find a certain part that I thought I made in here. And we want to see exactly, see the addition of the books. We need to get down, because I know, see, we did the name of the Lucifer. And the generations. Here we go. Now, it's first chapter. We get into the difficulties, which is research. We found out Matthew 23:1. Every English edition of the Bible has a math problem. Every Bible has a math problem. He makes it clear right here. Well, okay. So if you take the number 42 and divide it by 3, we have we get the 14 generation. See, he want to get you on another tangent, but we're going to go here, because every English text in Matthew 1:16, Joseph, the husband of Mary. So the genealogy in Matthew 1:1 in every English Bible is about the genealogy of Joseph. When you look at Luke 3, you're talking about the genealogy of Joseph. But the genealogy of Joseph is in Luke 3 is completely different from the genealogy in Joseph in Matthew. Well, how can this possibly reconcile this? Because he's a liar. But I'm going to show you how he reconciles this. And furthermore, the last 14 generations is only 13. So one short of generation. So how does that happen in the shortness of the generation of Matthew 1:1? Because of the word Joseph. One word is what he's saying. Liar saying one word. Please, I hope y'all sitting down on this. Was yes, the husband of Miriam. But Joseph was also the name of her father. He don't tell you where he got that from. He's just saying that was also the name of her father. We emailed him to ask him what scripture. We never get a response on that. But that's what he's saying. Now, you recognize in Matthew 1:1 it's talking about the genealogy of Miriam. Really? Now, number 14 of Yeshua HaMashiach, but it says the number 14, Miriam, is the number 13. In Joseph, that's where the problem comes in. The father of Miriam is the number 12. Now you got to realize in the Hebrew, there is no written word for husband. Write this down, because I'm going to show you the word for husband. And I'm going to show it to you. It's in Hebrew, but it's also translated into English. And we're going to see that. So, there's no written word for husband. There's really no word for wife, which it is. But you have to, well, what you have is Isha in Ish, which is actually what it is. And Adam took Eve to be his Isha, which he got it mixed up. But that's beside the point. His woman. And that's what he's saying the word is. And Ish to be the man. That's what he's saying it is. But that's not the truth. So we're going to go down and we're going to look at this, because he even Hebraist this here where talking about he was king of the Jews and he mixed all this up. But let's go into it. Like, we're going to look at some of these things, because you'll see Mary has no connection to David. None. I don't care how you look at it, how you twist it, how you flip it. You'll never find nowhere in the Bible Mary connected to the son of David. But you will see Joseph. So the lie is this, that the Hebrew word for husband. So we need to look at this and we need to understand exactly what it's saying. So first, what we're going to do, we're going to look at the King James Bible and see what they was trying to say about the genealogy of Joseph. However, both are the lineage of Joseph that they send in Matthew, and they talking about the lineage over in Luke. We're going to see this and we're going to understand, and then we're going to break it down for this man to understand, to where you can send it to him and he can get this understanding. And all you have to do is put the time and where right where we're going to do it, and he can understand this, because evidently he don't understand his Bible. So we're going to go to Luke 2 and 4, and it says, Joseph went up from Galilee out of the city of Nazareth into Judea, into the city of David, which is called Bethlehem. Why did he go there? Because he was of the house and lineage of David. I don't know what part we miss here. This is common sense. This clearly giving you the genealogy, but we're going to get into this. However, we're going to come back to this. So what about Matthew? One of the Sefer Bible says about Mary, to show in the Sefer Bible, and then we're going to see what it says in recognizing the Hebrew writing word, which is husband, in 2 and 16. So first we're going to see this in 2 and 16. It says, and it shall be at that day, saith Yahweh, that thou shalt call me Isha. See, you see how he changed the spelling, even he got an A. Thou shalt call me no more Bila. And that's calling him husband. But he says there's no Hebrew word for it. But it's a Hebrew word because they had to translate it into English for our readers to read it and to study it. The King James Bible had to do that. And it was always there. But he says no word for it, and it don't mean man. So, but they thought there was no word for it. However, let's check the genealogy of Matthew and King James. Let's look at this and see exactly what it's saying. So in Matthew 1, it says, and Eli begot Eliezer, and Eliezer begot Methan, and Methan begot Jacob. Now, we got to go down a little bit more, and Jacob begot Joseph. So this is clearly telling you how these begot. This is all through sperm translation into the woman. When it's saying begot, it's possessive. This came directly from these persons' loins. So Jacob begot Joseph. So from Jacob loins, in sperm translation, he begot Joseph, the husband of Mary, whom was born Yahushua, who is called Christ. So, however, we're going to look back at the breakdown, and we're going to look at the Cepher Bible. People clearly do not know, but just saying making changes on something that making another doctrine fit, because they don't know how to actually decipher the Bible. So we're going to look at Luke 3:23, and we're going to see some differences, and then we're going to break all this down. We don't have a problem breaking it down. It says, and Yahushua himself began about 30 years of age, being, understand what it's saying, being, as was supposed, the son of Joseph, which was the son of Heli. Most people are sitting there figuring it out, but we're gonna break all that down. You see that Joseph was the son of Heli, as you see that he was the son of Joseph, and he was the son of Jacob. But Heli, father was Methat. However, Jacob, father was Methan. You follow what I'm going to? We're going to get into it even more, because we need to jump down into it a little bit more. It says, which Joseph, which was the son of Heli, which the son of Mathat, which was the son of Levi, which was the son of Malachi, which was the son of Jonah, and it goes on to, which is the son of Joseph. But what we're doing is we honing in mainly upon the top part. Why? Because first off, we got to understand something that the Sefer Bible couldn't do. Heli and Jacob were brothers by the same mother. Again, Heli over here in Luke, and when you go to Matthew and you see Jacob, these two people were brothers by the same mother, not father. Now, the Sefer Bible couldn't get this, but these were brothers by the same mother. Heli died without children, which you can see this all through Scripture. He died without children. So, Heli died without the children, so Jacob raised up a seed to him, having Joseph according to our standards and what most people are saying. So Joseph actually belongs by seed to Jacob. This is why I want to make sure this is clear. But by law of God, Joseph belongs to Heli, making Joseph sons of both Jacob and Heli. And we're going to see the precept on that. Let's go by law. We got to always go to the law. Let's go to Deuteronomy 25, picking it up at verse 5. It says, if brethren dwelling together, understand, dwelling together, and one of them die and have no children, the wife of the dead shall marry without unto a stranger. So she can't marry a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go into her and take her unto him to wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother unto her. So if the brother dies having no children, the wife of the dead husband shall not marry outside the family. However, the brother of the dead shall go into her and take his wife as his wife now, and fulfill the duties of what his brother should have been doing, is having the children. Well, the Sefer Bible don't get this either. And we're going to find out why. Verse 6. And it shall be that the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother. That's why it's saying supposed over in Luke. As it goes on more, brother which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel. You see, it wasn't put out of Israel because when you go look in Luke, guess what? It was fulfilled. He was from the seed of Jacob, but you see, Luke was making sure you understood it by law. He was the son of Heli. So was he the son of Heli and the son of Jacob? Yeah, he was. He was the son of Jacob by sexual intercourse. So by compilation of sperm, that is his physical son. But by law, we see right here, it tells you right there, if a brother dwell together and one of them die, having no child, the wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother is what he did. Shall go into her and take her unto him to wife, and perform the duty of a husband's brother unto her. And it shall be the firstborn which she beareth shall succeed in the name of his brother, not in Jacob's name, in Heli's name, by law. That's all this is saying. But let's check this. We're going to make sure it's clear. Let's go over here back to Matthew 1 and 6. It says Jacob begot by seed, by sexual relation, by sexual intercourse. So this is clear that Jacob begot Joseph. This is clear. Whom born Christ, but that part we're not focusing. We're looking at Jacob begot Joseph, the husband of Mary. So let's go back over to Luke 2:23. Yahushua himself, being about 32 years of age, being was supposed the son of Joseph, which was the son of Heli. So Joseph was the son of Heli according to the law. The living brother Jacob begot the son of Joseph, the brother that died. Again, some would say, how can this be? How can this be? Brothers that have two different fathers. Jacob still is by Mathan, and Heli's father is Mathat. Again, the Sefer Bible, I want you guys, the one who really hold on to it, I want you guys to understand this. Because Mathan, who is from the lineage of Solomon, begot Joseph and later died. Mathat was from the lineage of Nathan, who married the widow's brother of the nation that had Heli. She was free to marry outside because Mathan had a son before he died. Let's repeat this for the Sefer Bible people. I know the King James Bible people will get it, but the Sefer Bible people might didn't get that. Mathan, who is from the lineage of Solomon, begot Jacob, later died. Mathan, who is from the lineage of Nathan, married a widow of his brother of the nation and had Heli. She was free, again, to marry outside because Mathan had a son before he died. This made Heli and Jacob brothers by the same mother but different fathers. Jacob's mother married outside and married Mathat from the lineage of Nathan. So Jacob's mother and Mathat had a child named Heli in that union. So Jacob and Heli grew up as brothers. Heli got married and died before having children with his wife. So by law, who they holding on to the law, she was not allowed to marry outside the family. So then Jacob, who Heli's brother, took her as his wife and fulfilled the duties of the law by nature, having the name Joseph and raising him by the name of the law of Heli. So when you see this here, as we showing, it's saying in the son of Joseph, which was, you see that? Was by law, which was by law. That's all it's saying. The son of Heli. That's it. And Joseph, the son of Heli, this is completely true also. Why? Because it's by law. So when someone tells you the next time, one shows the genealogy of Mary and one shows the genealogy of Joseph, you can tell them that's a complete bold-faced, unadulterated, underlying, big conniving, get behind me, Satan lie. Because Precept shows the truth. How can Mary be from the lineage of Heli and he died childless? That don't even make common sense. The Sefer Bible is a complete lie and teaching lies and is littered all over the web and people using them to teach others these lies. These people are teaching doctrines to keep you in error from the truth. Another problem a huge problem with the Sefer Bible, we're going to look at it again. We're going to Acts 12. We're going to pick this up at verse 4. And it says, and when he had apprehended him, to put him in prison and deliver him to 4 quadrants of soldiers to keep him tending after Pesach, to bring him forth to the people. Now this verse is in the Sefer Bible states Pesach, meaning Passover. However, let's see, is this true, meaning what it states? Because right here it's clearly telling you they tended to keep him to after Pesach to bring him to the people. So let's go to Leviticus. Let's go to the law. Because we always got, anytime you see, we have to go to the law to get the law. So it says on the 14th day, have your pen, write it down. On the 14th day of the first month is Yahweh's Passover. Make sure you have that written down. So we know on the 14th day of the first month of the year is Yahweh's Passover. Write that down. Then we're going to move forward. Verse 6. On the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto Yahweh. So we know on the 14th day, in the first month, is the Lord's Passover. On the 15th day is the feast of unleavened bread. We all got that. So let's go back to 12:4. And it says in King James, and when they apprehended him, they wanted to put him in prison. They put him in prison to deliver him to 4 quadrants of soldiers to keep him tending after Easter to bring him forth to the people. Now, tending after Easter, bring him forth to the people. Now the Sefer Bible says Passover. The King James says Easter. Somebody's lying. Somebody's clearly is lying here. This is a clear, unadulterated lie. But let's do this. Let's go up one. Let's go to Sefer Bible. Let's go up one. Now I had to move down to the other part, but it said, but the main part I want you to see is here. If you look at verse 3, it says, I don't have that part because it's down at the bottom, but it says, please, the Yehudim, mean the Jews, he proceeded further to take Kepha, which is Peter. But see right there where it says in verse 3, then were the days of whatever he got, because that actually is not a Hebrew or a Greek word. Neither one. So, but he want to say this is the day of unleavened bread. That's basically all he's saying. So, what am I saying there? Let's look at the King James. It says that because it started to please the Jews, proceeding that it proceeded further to take Peter, then were the days of unleavened bread. So, we have a problem. Because Passover, by law, when you look at Leviticus 23, 5, and 6, is on the 14th day. This here, within the days of unleavened bread, which they see for Bible, let me go back. They saying the same thing. You see it right up here. Was the days of unleavened bread. So they putting unleavened bread before Passover. See, this again is another lie. Because all you got to do is go up a verse, say, then were the days of unleavened bread. So Passover already passed. So Easter is really Easter. But it's talking about a heathen god. So it wasn't talking about Passover. It's talking about a heathen god. Because the heathen celebrates their holidays. So they wanted to wait till after their holiday was over. And then they was going to do him in. But they wanted to wait till after Easter, not Passover. So we have to understand all the time what we're dealing with. We're dealing with here. We're dealing with these false Bibles. in these false Bibles is nothing but hyenas. And we always get hyenas out of our locations. And the only way you do that, you destroy them. You destroy them because you don't want those lies around on you. When you have the truth, there's no reason to be sitting there with a lie. So we need to understand that all the time. And understand exactly what we're doing all the time. So what I see, what a lot of people might do, and the same as we're going through on this, and to understand exactly what people need to understand, and remember, these books that we're going through, we need to completely understand exactly what is happening all the time. We got to make sure all the time we do not tie ourselves down to false doctrine. When we tie ourselves to false doctrine, what we doing? We tying ourselves and we getting caught up in these books because everybody says they have a better translated Bible. Why? Because they're trying to move you directly away from King James Bible. The Sefer Bible, I could have went way more into this, but I wanted to show you the key parts to where you understand yourself. This is a fake Bible. That's why he will not put it out there to where people can freely read it and get an understanding, and then if they want it, they can purchase it. But he has a price close to $100 for the book, and then it's close to $25 for a digital copy. Because he knows his time is limited. He know what he's up against. This is the reason why we have to watch who we deal with. We have to watch what we're reading. We have to watch what we're studying with. If you're doing it with these Sefer Bibles, you will be turned from the truth. That's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Same as with the other ones. When you want to precept the Bible locked down tight, you cannot precept the Sefer Bible. And same as people, you can tell when some people like to use outside resources because they get stuck on pagan. Seeing pagan is a light word on what really is. The reason why that's not going to be a public teaching, because we have Gentiles like to take some of these teachings and then they go and they Heresize it and they teach other people and do other different ways. Or they want to embed it in their books and they want to sell it. So we do private teachings, and most of my private teachings, what I'm going to let most people know up front, I will be able to see you. And if you're a Gentile, you will be removed. This is something, just as I said, I am here to teach Israel. On these teachings here, I don't mind too many other people, but I'm letting you plainly know up front. The university, many people have complained to the university about some of the statements that saying that, it seemed like he always pointed towards Israel or Israelite people. Yeah, because that's who I teach. So I don't bite my tongue about it. I'm very upfront about it, but many people brought that up, and I'm just letting you know. The school supports it 3,000%. I teach Israel. So with that, I bid each and every one, shalom.